It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
In the criminal justice system, sexually-based offenses are considered especially heinous. In New York City, the dedicated detectives who investigate these vicious felonies are members of an elite squad known as the Special Victims Unit. These are their stories.
Hey yo, I'm here to tell you, if you saw that viral video of that light-skinned nigga with them fake-ass dreads proposing to his lady at the Tyler, the Creator concert in Atlanta, yeah, that nigga's still married. He been married for years. If anybody know that lady that he's proposing to, let her know to run. This nigga is a scammer, is a thief, this nigga is a lie. You know how I know? I used to be friends with this nigga. But I found out who he really was when we stopped being friends. I know 3 of his ladies because we were friends for so long. Please, if you know that lady in Atlanta, Georgia, tell her to run. This nigga, this is what he does. He is literally the black Tinder swindler. So, yeah, run.
I know the man in this video, and when I met him, he told me his name was Caleb. 2.5 years later, I find out that he has at least 6 kids.
Damn.
By many different women, and I ended up being number 7.
Damn.
So I will be putting together a series of videos of my experience with him and how I took my power back.
What it do, everyday people, man? It's your boy PJ. Today we back with another lit video. Back in the confessional. Yes, we staying lit, big dog. Shout out to my everyday people who rock with me every day. Shout out to my player partner, Lucky Wizard Deals. Your boy keeps it lit. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the video. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. Hit the links down below. We got Moog's Coffee, man. Okay, check it out, man. Get your K-cups together, okay? Click your size, click your flavor, then pick your size, and you can click the K-cup size, okay? And then double up on it, okay? Use the discount code everydaypj at checkout, man, okay? Now, hit the link, HiveMindLabs.com. We're about to unbig those backs, big dog, okay? Real in a real way, okay? Now, let's get into this lady's story. I'm finna hit y'all with a good one, and then we're gonna check it out, and then we're gonna, you know what I'm saying, come back to it later. I guess I'm gonna premiere this so we can all talk about this in real time. So while y'all watching me, I'm watching with y'all, and we gonna all be on here talking about it. All right, so holla at your boy, everyday people. Holla at you later.
That's it. I quit. Dating sucks, hate it here, blah, blah, blah. So this one is not about a date because apparently I need to actually go on one in order to keep telling you guys stories. Minor technicality I did not take into consideration. Oh, but do not worry, because considering this is the last story time of 2021, the tea that I'm about to spill is much, much juicier. Don't believe me? Well, what if I told you that I started out the beginning of this year engaged to who I thought was the love of my life, only to find out that he just announced that he's expecting a baby with the bitch that he cheated on me with? Yay! I'm sorry, I shouldn't have called her a bitch. That was misdirected anger. There's literally only one monster in this story. Unless she knew about me, in which case, the bitch stands. But that's not the point. Ladies and gentlemen, sit back while I tell the tall tale of the time that I almost married a narcissistic sociopath. And in case you're wondering, yes, this is going to hurt. The year was 2018, and after a summer of trolloping through the ghetto streets of dating, I finally met a man who, I hate to admit it, but swept me off my feet. And by now, y'all already know what turned your girl real basic real quick. He was tall, he was funny, he was beautiful, he was scrumptious. Sidebar, I am completely convinced that the devil is walking the earth disguised as beautiful men, so from this point on, it'll only be Pee Wee Hermans and Steve Urkels for me. And don't even try to play me with that Stefan or Kel shit. I see right through you. Not today, Satan. So we instantly connected. It was one of those like, I just met you, but I feel like I've known you forever type of connections. And while I thought initially he was just being very intentional of his pursuit of me, I have come to find out that he was just exercising that age-old manipulation tactic used by narcissists all around the world known as love bombing. Yeah, there's definitely going to be multiple parts to this story. Anyway, where was I? Oh, that's right. Love bombing. Super fucked up, but super effective. So much so that I fell in love with him, thought he fell in love with me, and after 11 months of dating, he asked me to marry him. It was not a simple ask. No. Because that's not how narcissists roll. They don't do quiet and intimate. They do loud and outlandish, like fucking flash mobs. Because how else can they ensure maximum humiliation when they up and leave you? I mean, if you're a sociopath, it makes sense. If you're not, well, you're basic. Ooh, pro tip for all my aspiring narcissistic sociopaths out there. If you have any children that you don't actually take care of, but you use as pawns in order to disarm other people, you should totally incorporate them into your con because it works like a charm. We are talking that shit is très magnifique. Welcome back to the Holiday Limited series, So I Almost Married a Narcissistic Sociopath, brought to you by Dating Sucks and I Hate It Here. Tequila's up. Let's do this. Okay, so now I'm engaged and I'm not even gonna front. I was so happy. I was like, over the moon, on my knees praying, Jesus, you did it. You see me. Won't he do it? He did though. But now I'm over here like, but what's really good, fam? Anyways, sorry for yelling. So listen, your girl is no spring chicken, so I wasted no time planning the dream wedding that I have literally been thinking of and conjuring up for the past 30 years. Now, for the most part, planning was a cinch. I mean, we had the date, we had the venue. I had my dress, my girls had their dresses. I mean, I was sitting up there on my high horse like, I thought this was supposed to be stressful, but I guess not for me. Little did I know that I would come to wish that my biggest issue was trying to figure out how to keep Uncle Ray Ray and Auntie Poom Poom from sitting next to each other. So like, I don't know if you heard, but in 2020, the whole world kind of shut down because of this little virus situation. I don't know. If you ask me, it was a little over. Oh my God. Am I dying? I think I'm dying. Oh my God. I gotta take a test. And we're back. Seeing as this is my first global pandemic, I was not prepared for the way in which an entire collective global tragedy will come for your entire life. And you know who it's even more inconvenient for? Trifling heifers who've been secretly in these streets being foul. Now, when you're a narcissist and you are living not just a double life, but 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 different lives, things get real tricky when you're slapped with a stay-at-home order and you're forced to quarantine in your house, thus messing up every cover story you've ever created in your entire existence because where are you going, my dog? No, really. Where are you going? So it's the latter half of 2020 and my intuition is on trill. A couple situations occurred that now have me realizing the math isn't mathing, because basically he still wanted to be on his fuckboy shit, except the whole world has changed. So he can't move how he used to move, or really he can't hide how he used to hide. You want to know the number one surefire way to piss off a narcissist and have them showing their ass? You know, the real one? Be unrelenting in your pursuit of the truth. As my girl Chelsea Hart would say, they do not like this. One thing you should know about me, if something don't look right, taste right, sound right, feel right, I'm gonna say something, and I'm gonna keep saying something until you make it make sense. And if you can't make it make sense, well then, ain't nobody gonna be happy. Before we continue, I just want to do a little check-in. How are we doing? Are we okay? That was a silly question. No, we're not. But anyway, so at this point, nothing makes sense to me anymore, and I am not letting anything go. And because I'm not letting anything go, he basically powered up on his narcissistic villain powers and decided to go ham on the gaslighting, the manipulation, and the outright emotional and mental abuse. This man spent the next 3 to 4 months trying to convince me that I was out of my whole motherfucking mind. I mean, everything that I shared with him, every vulnerability, every insecurity, every fear, everything that I gave to him because I thought he was a safe space for me, he was now throwing back at me like brrrr. I mean, at this point, he was basically taking every audacity he had ever stored up in his entire life and was firing them off like grenades. For example, he comes to me one day and tells me that he needs to go to Big Bear, which is in the mountains, for a work training. The reason that this is problematic is because we're in a shutdown. There is no work training, my dog. There's barely any work. You must think I'm dumb. He tries to gaslight me into believing that it is because of my severe insecurity that I cannot see things clearly. Because if I could see things clearly, I would see that he's just trying to go do what's best for our family's future. Nah, fam, I see just fine. You trying to go to the mountains and deep dive in somebody else's poonan. Now, did this stop him from going? Absolutely not. He literally dipped out one day while I was in the shower and wait for it, my car. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I fail to mention that at this exact same time, my dad had just had a severe stroke and was in a medically induced coma with the doctors telling us he might not make it? So I'm already depressed. My anxiety is all over the place. And instead of being my rock, my comfort, I don't know, someone to lean on, no, he decided to be Satan incarnate. So after months of literally traumatizing me mentally and emotionally, he decides he's going to go visit his mom. 3 days after he leaves, I get a call from him where he's like, you're batshit crazy, your family's batshit crazy, and honestly, I no longer have the bandwidth and I don't want to marry you anymore. Oh yes, you heard that correctly. He broke off our engagement over the phone from his mama's house in another state. Now, to really paint a picture of just how diabolical a narcissist is, my dad was scheduled to have another surgery and had written us all letters, including him. This man sat there and let me read the letter that my daddy wrote to him and then proceeded to blow up my entire life no more than 35 seconds later. So he's just blown up my entire life, and if the way in which he did so was not gut-wrenching enough, over the next couple months, I would come to find out that he had multiple children that I knew nothing about. He owes a shit ton of back child support. He basically was cheating on me our entire relationship. At this point, I feel like I'd be pressed to find a day where he was faithful. And my personal favorite, he's married to someone else. And that's the real kicker for me, ladies and gentlemen, because plot twist, that means we were never actually going to get married. So when he proposed to me, he knew we weren't going to get married. When we started planning our wedding, he knew we weren't going to get married. When we did our engagement photos, he knew we would not get married. When my family paid deposits for the venue, for the caterer, for the DJ, for the flowers, for the planner, he knew we were not going to get married. When I bought my dress, he knew we were not going to get married. When my girls spent money on their dresses, he knew we were never going to get married. Now, if that's not a narcissistic sociopath, then I don't know what is. So that's the skinny on how I almost married a narcissistic sociopath. And now he is having a baby with his new supply. And congrats to the happy couple. No, not really. I hope you're miserable. BT dubs, sis, if he ends up proposing to you with a really beautiful oval-shaped halo engagement ring, that's mine. Could I get that back? I only ask because, my parents paid for it. Okay, I know that's petty, but I earned it. Okay, real talk. I know that I use humor a lot to retell some really painful and hard truths about my life, but I want to make it very clear. Anyone who has experienced being in an abusive relationship of any kind, whether emotionally, physically, mentally, and in relationship with a narcissistic personality, that is no joking matter. It is so incredibly painful, and it is so incredibly difficult to try and recover from. Healing and rebuilding from this has been one of the hardest and scariest things that I've ever done, because I fully believed that this was going to destroy me. But somehow it didn't. Actually, I know how. I know what it's like to experience a pain that you can literally feel tearing pieces of you away. And I'm not here to give you answers because frankly, I don't have them. I just simply want to remind you that you are not alone and to encourage you to keep fighting for you, because those places that we think are impossible for us to get to, they're not. Love you.
This video is for the young woman who just got engaged at the Tyler, the Creator concert in Atlanta, Georgia. And I did try to warn her however I could, because at the time I didn't even know who she was. And especially this last month, it's been really heavy on my heart. I've been thinking about her often because I'm so scared and worried about her. And when someone warned me about him, I was 5 months pregnant. and I just couldn't, like, it was too much. So I would reach out to her directly, but I know what happened when someone directly reached out to me. And so this isn't the way that I would like for it to be done, but I feel like this is the only way to stop him. And he was talking to her while he was still with me. I know that for a fact. So this next part will be the start of my story of what happened to me when I met him, and the 2.5 years that I was with him. So this is the engagement swindler. And just to all the women out there who've ever been in an abusive relationship, just know that you can get out of it. You can. Like, even if you went so far down the rabbit hole and you're just like not even feeling like you can get out, like, you can. Even if you have nothing, like, you can escape and you can restart your life, because that's what I basically had to do. So thank you for everyone that will be watching this, and this is just to warn people, because this is the era of unveiling predators and helping just people in general, so that way you don't get caught up and have your life completely ruined. If you guys saw the guy that proposed to his girlfriend at the Tyler, the Creator concert in Atlanta, Georgia, that is my ex. So this is the engagement swindler, how I ran for my life and took back my power. I met him December 7th of 2020 during COVID on this dating app called We Plus. I'm curvy, so I was like, well, if I go on this app, like, I for sure should meet someone that likes curvy women. So he ends up hitting me up, and I was a little hesitant at first because he just looked like, you know, I mean, he was a pretty boy. Like, he's 6'5", had like orange eyes, light skin, like not really my go-to because I prefer chocolate men. So I didn't really entertain it. And then he ends up hitting me up again, and he's like 6'5", no ladder needed. And so I happened to be, I was like on my roof of my house putting Christmas lights on the house. I love Christmas. I love putting lights on the house. Like, I go all out, inside and out. So I thought that was cute. I was like, oh, that's a cute line, you know? And I was like, okay, well, you know, maybe I will entertain it. Because you know how they say, like, sometimes your person is not your go-to, like someone you would normally date. So I was like, well, I'm open because I really want to meet someone. Maybe like 4 months prior, I had written in my journal about exactly like the type of guy that I wanted and to meet. And so I was really like intentionally dating. So we end up like talking, and we agreed to meet up. So I'm really excited because I was like just praying. I was like, God, I just want to meet my person. Like, I'm ready to settle down, start a family. Like, I worked for myself. Like, I built it, you know, to a certain point. And I was like, okay, God, like, I'm ready. Like, I have the time. Like, I'm ready to meet someone. So we end up, no, I had to go to Sonoma County because my friend had just gotten engaged. So we agreed to meet up when I was on my way back down, since I had to pass through LA. So I get over there, and it was like at a like Starbucks, like a shopping center that had like a Starbucks in it. And so he ended up not showing up. So I'm thinking like, okay, like I couldn't get a hold of him, couldn't call him. And I was like, well, maybe he got tied up at work or something happened. So he ends up like apologizing, and, you know, we're chit-chatting, and we're still trying to like meet up. But again, it's like during COVID, so it's like hard to do that. So we also agreed that we needed both to get tested to make sure, you know, we were good to go for the safety of people, like, you know, in our households. And so we both had gotten tested, and we tested negative. And so I was like, well, hey, like, I made a peach cobbler. I'm from Oklahoma. I make peach cobbler, like, from my grandma's recipe. And, you know, what they say is the key to a man's heart is through his stomach. So I was like, hey, I made a peach cobbler. Like, I'm going to be in LA. Like, you know, can we meet? And so he was like, yeah, we can meet. And then he said he would let me know when he was available. So I already had made my way out there. So it was kind of late. It was probably like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And mind you, like, he lives like 2 hours from where my house is. So we end up meeting up at that parking lot, and he pulls up in an Audi. And I'm like, okay, like, this matched what he put in his profile about the income that he made. And so, you know, I pull up my Benz, and, you know, he ends up getting out of the car, and I turn around to get, like, the peach cobbler out of the car, and, you know, he's looking at the donk, he's looking, so I was like, okay, like, he's attracted. And so I give him the peach cobbler. We're, like, chit-chatting a little bit, not really about anything. And then we were at that parking lot for maybe, like, half an hour. And then, you know, we talked about, like, trying to see each other again, and that he would, like, come out to Orange County. And so I was like, perfect, just let me know. So he get back in the car, you know, we leave. And so that following week, we ended up meeting up. Mind you, during this time, like, we haven't really had any phone conversations. He made up some story that his aunt was visiting, and he wasn't able, like, to get out, and he had to wait until she left or something like that. And then he sent me a picture of him and, like, a little chihuahua, saying that it was his aunt's dog. So I'm like, oh, how cute, because obviously I work with animals. So he ends up coming out to my house, and I think I did cook, but we didn't end up eating anything. And so he was only at my house for maybe, like, within the first, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour. He literally had just gotten there and sat down, like, at my bar area. And so he pulls me close to him, and he starts kissing me. And so, you know, obviously we're both attracted. And so he leads me, like, dragging me, like, straight to the bedroom. And it went down. It did. It went down. It was fun. It wasn't vanilla. Like, I was hooked. So, and it was also unprotected. I know. Stupid. I know. I just felt like I could trust him for some reason. So now I'm, like, really, like, into him, because I'm a very, like, monogamous person. And so I'm an ambivert, but mostly an introvert, and I don't like to serial date at all. Like, it's too much for me. So when I like someone, I like you, and I focus on you, and I really want to get to know you. And so he was supposed to come over again because I made dinner, and he was supposed to come over for dinner and, you know, spend some time with me, and he was a no-show. And so I got super pissed. I was crying. I was like, oh my God, I feel so stupid. Like, I just had, like, unprotected sex with you, and I don't even know you, and I need to go get tested to make sure you didn't give me anything, and all this stuff. And then he ends up texting me, I don't know, like, so late, maybe 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And he said that he had gotten pulled over by the cops because it was a curfew in LA, and that he was sitting on the sidewalk for, like, 4 hours or something like that. And I'm like, are you okay? I was so worried, but so relieved that he, like, finally texted me. And so I'm like, are you okay? Like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened to you. Like, he was like, yeah, when they ran the plates and saw, you know, my license plate and who I was. And I'm thinking, like, who you are, okay. But I don't really know people like that. Like, I don't look up people. If you're, like, in Hollywood and stuff, like, I don't really know, you know, I don't keep tabs on people like that, so I wouldn't know. So I was just like, oh my God, I'm so happy you're okay. Like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And so then I felt better, right? And I was like, we need to get tested. Like, I didn't like that. So I'm getting tested and you need to get tested before like we get together again. And so he told me we get tested. So he, on his profile, it said that his name was Caleb. It said that his name was Caleb. The dog is moving the table up and down. Okay, baby. Down, down. Good job. So it said that his name was Caleb. And I did do, after he stood me up like that, I did do a background check on him. So I did a background check on him and I couldn't find his name anywhere. I couldn't find it. So I'm like, that's weird. Like, the only Caleb's, and then he gave me his mom's last name that I could find were Caucasian men. So I was like, why can't I find him? This is weird. This is part 1. I will post part 2 after I'm done working. But I just wanted to give you guys a little tidbit or a little something since this video went viral on my experience with this guy, with this Caleb. I asked him if he got tested, and he told me, so I got my test results back, and he told me that because he was in the military, that he had to do mandatory checkups or something, like every 3 months, and one of them was like for STDs. Why did I believe that? I mean, I've dated military guys. I ain't never heard of that. I believed everything that he said. It just, because, like, I'm not a liar. I'm, like, overly honest, okay? People don't like that. Some people don't like that about me. I'm overly honest. So I can't fathom that this dude is, like, lying to me. Because who would go to such extents to lie? Like, it's wild. I was just like, oh, okay. So anyway, so he would come over, and he would only come for maybe like 2 hours. We would like do it, and then he would leave. And then I was like, why do you only come for like, no, he would only come for like an hour. And so I asked him, I said, why do you only come for an hour and then you leave so fast? Like, and then he said, oh, well, I come from so far away. It ends up taking a total of like 4.5 hours. So that's why, and I have to get back, like, I have work to do or something like that. So I was just like, oh, okay. Stupid. So dumb. I don't know. Y'all gonna talk so bad about me. I was in my bubble. Like, I'm one of those people, I was sheltered growing up, and I just stayed in like my little bubble. Like, I was very naive. And it never crossed my mind that he was just lying to me. It just didn't. So I have bought scooters, and you know, it's COVID, so you know, there's a lot of eating like outside, and where I live, there's like a downtown area with like a lot of restaurants. So we would ride the scooters to restaurants and have a good time. And I had a neighbor that I've known for a long time, and I remember he saw us like kissing in the common, like the garage area or the driveway, and because we were living in a duplex. So he never like said hi to him, or he probably got a weird feeling about him. He really probably did, but that should have been a sign. I just thought he was being rude. Like, okay, he's being rude. But no, I think he had like a bad feeling about him. So anyhow, okay, so you guys, I'm sorry, it's like the story is so big, so much. So my birthday. So I'm a Capricorn. My birthday's in January. Capricorn, right? So I was 34, about to turn 35. And I invited him to Big Bear. And I was like, you know, I want to go to Big Bear for my birthday, because I usually always go somewhere for my birthday. And it's COVID, so I mean, I have to do something local. So I was like, you know, would you want to go with me? And he was like, yeah, I would love to go to Big Bear with you. And I'm like, oh, awesome. Like, I'll book it. I'll book the Airbnb. We're boycotting Airbnb right now, but at the time, right? So anywho, time is coming for him to, for us to go on the trip. And I told him, I said, you know, if you want me to, like, I can come pick you up and we can head to Big Bear, like, that way, because I had a truck and I was going to take my truck up there because of the snow. So, I had, like, a Tundra. Well, yeah, I had a Tundra. So, anywho, so he was like, okay, yeah, sure. But then, literally, the morning of, he changed it up and said, it's okay, you don't have to come here. I'm going to come to you. I was like, okay, well, I mean, that works, then we can leave. Because I think Orange County is closer than where they were at in the valley. Anywho. So I was just like, okay. But then that spidey sense, like, he don't want me going over to his house. But then it's also COVID. So, but it's not like I needed to go in. I could have just been in the driveway and just, he jumped in the car. But I did have that, like, right? Like, that's, like, it's almost like he didn't want me to come over at all. So, so we go to Big Bear, have a great time. He parked his Audi in my driveway, and we head to Big Bear for the weekend. So my birthday falls on MLK weekend always. So we're up there having a great time and watching like anime, because he's like super major into anime, and I'm also a little bit of a fan of anime. Like was into like Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon. I used to draw it. So you know, he wanted to introduce me to this show that he watched called Bleach. So we mainly kind of just watched anime and, you know, had some fun and you know, just ate and just kind of locally. So nothing was really weird about that weekend, but except for we went hiking. We went on like a little hike, and he does these different voices that crack me up. He could do like Elmo, like actually for my son's birthday I had him dress up as Elmo, and he did the Elmo voice. And so he has like all these different characters that he could do, and the mess would just crack me up. I love to laugh. Like, I love that he was like goofy and silly. So he would get free stuff, especially when he used his British accent. He would get, I was amazed. I was like, oh my God, like, how do you just get free things? Like, people just give you stuff for free. And so we were kind of hiking, and then he asked me this question. He goes, so like, you know, if you had to do, like, go down the red carpet, like, would you be comfortable doing that? And I was like, I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess so, you know? He's like, okay, well, you know, I have a red carpet event coming up, and, you know, so I just want to know if that's something that you'd be interested in. And I was like, yeah, for sure. Like, that's exciting. Ooh, like, a red carpet event in Hollywood, like, okay. And so we left from there and went back up to the cabin. And so he's sitting on the bed, and I'm looking at him like he had a wife beater on. So I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at his arms. He has all these tats, and I'm looking, and I'm like, he has tattoos of different people's names on his arm. And I was like, who is this? I'm not gonna say his kids' names, but who is this kid? Or who is this name? Like, who's this belong to? Because I have baby footprints. And he was like, oh, I thought I told you I'm like, no. And he was like, yeah, that's my oldest son. And I'm like, you told me you only had one kid, a daughter. And he was like, oh no, I thought I told you. I said, no, you didn't tell me. He was like, oh, I thought I did. Looking some more. There's another name on his arm with the birth date. And I was like, well, who is this one? A girl's name. And it wasn't the daughter that he had told me about. And he goes, oh, I thought she was my daughter, but when I was away when I got deployed to Afghanistan and I was away, I found out that she cheated on me and that she really wasn't my daughter. And I was like, oh my God. Because I'm thinking, like, why would he deny his kids? Because he has their names, like, tattooed on his body. Like, he tattoos his kids' names on his body. So why, with the birth date and everything. So why would I think that he would, like, make up a story, right, about this kid who's half Mexican, half black, right? He's mixed with a bunch of stuff, but she's basically half Mexican, half black. Why would I think he was lying about that? Kids' names are tattooed on his body. So the one that he said wasn't his daughter because he found out that she cheated on him. I said, well, how did you know that? And he said, oh, well, one day me and my brother were driving around and we saw her and the little girl didn't look like me. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I don't know. Like, who would lie about that? I didn't know. And then I asked him about his oldest son. I was like, oh, like, do you see your oldest son? Like, and he was like, no. I haven't seen him in a long time since he was like a toddler. And he goes, yeah, the mom, she's a part of a Jehovah's Witness cult and they're protected by the state. And so they just wouldn't let me see him and there was nothing that I could do. And I was like, oh my God, that's terrible. Like, so she just wouldn't let you see your son? And he was like, no, she wouldn't let me see him. You know, and there was just like nothing I could do. But I am going to talk to him when he's like 18. Like, I'm going to talk to him and I'm going to tell him like what happened. And, you know, because I was concerned. I was like, are you going to try to, like, do you reach out? Like, are you going to try to, you know, rekindle a relationship? Like, you know, now that he's older. And he was like, you know, yeah, when he's 18. So, I was like, oh God, like, that's terrible. I think it's terrible that someone that wants to be involved in their child's life and they're not allowed to be. Like, I don't agree with that. So, so he said that, yeah, he had lived in Georgia for a little bit. And, when him and his girlfriend told me that she was his girlfriend, or his son's mom, all these things that I'm telling you guys, this is all going to come back around. Like, these little stupid details are actually very important. So he was like, oh, you know, she wouldn't let me see him, so I just left. Like, we didn't get along and the family didn't want me there and they lived in a compound. He told me that they lived in a compound. He was like, yeah, they live in a compound because her uncle is rich or whatever, and they live in this, whole family lives in a compound. And so once her and I didn't get along and I left, like, they didn't want me to be involved. They didn't want me around. So I was just like, okay. And that's what he told me about his kids. So we're done at Big Bear. We drive back down to my house. I think it's only like maybe it's a 2-hour drive. I don't remember. Maybe an hour and a half, 2-hour drive from Big Bear. And so we say goodbye. He gets back in the car and he's sitting in the driveway for a little bit. And mind you, this is during the George Floyd stuff, okay? I had so much anxiety. I don't know if anyone else can relate, but I had a ton of anxiety. Like, I was scared to leave my house sometimes. And I live in a predominantly Caucasian area, especially the neighborhood that I was in. So I would get scared sometimes that I would come out and I would see the N-word written like on like one of my like units. And so I remember wanting to feel safe. And I like the fact that he used to be a Marine, and he's tall, and he had, you know, arms. Not a super muscular person, but he worked on his arms. And I just felt like safe. And so the neighbor that I had at the time, not the one that I shared the duplex with, but the one across the street, would write like a lot of racial slurs, say such and such, such and such, such and such. If you don't like it here, like go back to where you came from. And all of, I mean, he would have different things almost every week on this sign that he put, oh my God, outside of his house. So I had to move one of my units from across the street, and I busted a U like in front of his house. Legally, like, so I park it, and all of a sudden this man comes from across the street yelling at me. He's like probably 80. And he's like, I called the cops on you. I called the cops on you because of your turn. I'm like, what? I'm like, why would you call the cops on me because you didn't like the way that I turned? And then I just like lost it. And I was yelling at him, and I was like, you better stay the bleep away from me. All you want to see, why would you call the cops on me for something stupid like that? Like, you just want to see me get shot. Like, and all these people are driving by staring at me. But I was just like so tense, you know, like so scared during that time. He was in the car, so he didn't see any of it. And, you know, I went in the house, I was like crying. It was like a whole thing. So we continue to see each other. God, this is January. And let me fast forward to when he had to go to Colorado. So he had to go to Colorado because he said, oh, no. So he tells me that, he finally tells me that he had a roommate. Because I told him, I said, I kind of feel like you're living with a woman or something. Like, are you living with a woman? Like, I just get that feeling. And he was like, no, I mean, I have roommates, but I'm trying to move out. And I said, oh, okay. And so he said, yeah, I'm trying to move out. And I did find a place. And so I'm going to go, it's not going to be ready. So I'm going to go to Colorado for a month. He said he was going to go to Colorado for a month during his birthday month, which is, he's an Aquarius. So nothing gets Aquarius is like, this is the first crazy experience I've had with an Aquarius. But he was just like, yeah, I'm going to go up there for a month. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, I can't be without him for a month. Like, I'm falling for him, right? Like, that's too long. So he said he'd be back, and then he would move into his new spot. And he's moving out from the valley and going to be like almost like close to downtown LA. So I was just like, okay, like, I'm going to miss you. And so I secretly planned to fly out there because he was going to be there during Valentine's weekend. And so I like wrote all these cute little letters, and he's supposed to open up one every other day or something. I don't know. I was being very romantic. So and one of the letters he would open up, it would be like, surprise, I'm coming out there to visit you. And so he ends up leaving like February the 1st, I think, which is like 4 days before his birthday. And so he ends up leaving February 1st on a plane to go stay with his mom in Colorado. And then, because that's where he's from. So he's like from Colorado, but also from LA. His family's lived both places. So he grew up like kind of half and half. So he's gonna go to Colorado and stay up there. So he left February 1st. He calls me like February the 2nd, and he was like, do you have time to talk? And I'm like, I always have time to talk. You know, he was like, well, call me after you're done working. And I said, okay, no problem. So I call him after I'm done working, and he's like bothered, breathing hard, like acting like he's nervous. And I'm like, what's wrong? Like, what's wrong? And he was like, I'm so scared if I tell you this, you're not going to talk to me anymore. And I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, I'm a very understanding, open-minded person. Like, whatever you have to tell me, it can't be that bad. Like, you know, just tell me. mind you, when I was dating him and in the beginning I had asked him if he had a social media account, and he told me he's never had a social media account. He's like, no, I don't do social media. But then I should have thought, well, that doesn't make sense, because if you're like an actor or something, like, wouldn't you have a social media account? So I was just like, oh, okay. But again, I did background checks on him again, and nothing popped up. So I mean, what would I think? And mind you, I still think his name is Caleb. And this is now going into the 8th week of us talking. He called me, and so I call him after I'm done working. So I give him a call, and he's like acting nervous, and I'm like, just tell me whatever it is that you have to say. And then he goes, okay, so my name is not Caleb. What? Yeah, my name is not Caleb. And I'm like, okay. And so, mind you, this is like February the 1st. I believe. Yeah. Or the 2nd, maybe. No. He went out there on the 1st. I think this is February the 2nd. So, he gives me the name of a website, or the URL of a website. And he's like, okay, well, on your phone, like, type in this website. And I said, okay. And then I'm just going to say the first part of the website was Byron. something.com. Okay. So I type in the website, and it's him. And he has like this profile picture with his like hat, and he goes, it's basically like a biography of him, a bio of himself. And so it said that he was a veteran. And I can't remember, but I don't think I knew that he was a veteran. So, it said that he was, no, I did know. I did know that he was a veteran, that he was a Marine before. I did know that part. So anyway, so it said that he was a veteran, and that he was an actor, and I don't know, like whatever it is that he put on the bio. So I go, okay, so your name is Byron, not Caleb? And he goes, right, yeah, my name is Byron. Why would you lie about that? Why would you lie about your name? So he goes, well, I was in a high-profile relationship with a celebrity's daughter, and we had broken up, and we've been broken up for a year. Because I asked him, so how long have you guys been broken up? And he said a year. And I'm like, okay, I'm confused, but so I'm assuming that's who your roommates were. And he was like, yeah, we were living in her parents' back house. So you guys broken up for a year, but you're still living there. He was like, yeah, because of COVID, so I had to move in. And then something happened like with her dad. He had a stroke, and then we definitely couldn't tell the family that we weren't engaged anymore. And it was just a lot. And so I was just like, he was like, yeah, so I just had to he basically told me that he just had to be careful, and that's why he had to give me a fake name. And in my head, I was like processing it, but then I'm like talking to myself, like trying to rationalize it. Like, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I mean, yeah, I can understand that. Like, I can understand why you had to give me a fake name, because you're in a high profile relationship with a celebrity's daughter, and you guys had to be careful because of the media and blowback or whatever. I literally, whatever, it didn't matter what he was going to tell me, as you guys can see. Like, I was determined because I didn't need him. No, like, I'm an independent, you know, woman. I'm doing my thing. Like, I didn't need him, but I wanted him. And because I wanted him, and I was like, I'm the type of person, like, I'm a tenacious person. Like, when I see something that I want, like, I go after it. And I'm like a pit bull, and I don't let go. I'm like, no, this is what I want, and I'm going to figure out how to get it. And so, I guess that's a part of the entrepreneurial spirit that I have. Like, that's just me. I've always been like that. So it didn't matter what he told me, because he told me what I needed to hear to, like, rationalize it and make it okay. So, but the problem was that I already told my mom about him. And now I'm going to have to explain to my mom, because I was so excited about him. I'm like, this is the one, like, oh my God, like, it's like I've known him forever. Like, he's my person. Like, I know this is serious. Like, so I already told her. And so now I got to explain why his name is no longer Caleb. Now I got to explain that. And here are some photos. Oh my God. Here's some photos. And then on to the next. I don't know how you guys do this on TikTok, because it is very time consuming. These videos take so long to upload. So I'm hoping that I can get through this without the videos being super duper long, as I know the max is like 10 minutes. But let me just go ahead and give you guys like my proof, what do you call it? The receipts, my receipts of everything. And then we're going to talk about the fiance that he had. And so we're going to talk about what I was going through, and in the back end, what was actually happening. Because, I mean, he didn't have roommates. He had a fiance that he was living with. And the roommates are her parents, like her family. Like, what? This is nuts. And you can't make this stuff up. Like when it's like when people tell you these crazy stories, it's hard to believe because it's just that crazy. Like, who would make this stuff up? It's like a Tyler Perry movie. Like, who would make this stuff up? It's like almost unbelievable. And it's so insane that you're like, that can't be right. That can't be right. Okay, so the fiance. So first of all, before I add in her videos that I downloaded back when I downloaded them when I started to really like decided to take off my blinders and get out of denial and really like realize who this guy actually was and what has been going on from day one, from the moment that he hit me up on We Plus dating app and said hello. Now, my family, let's say my mom and me and my sisters, are nosy. We are nosy, okay? And we do some research. Now, I wish I would have did as much research on him then when, you know, because I think I definitely did a background check when he told me his real name. When he told me his real name, background check. There was nothing like the site that I used. There's so many different sites, but the site that I had used at that time didn't really tell me much. So I did do a background check on him because I'm like, what? let me look this up, right? So look him up, and it didn't really tell me anything that made me like, it didn't make me become like concerned, I guess. I don't know. It obviously, there's all these red flags. Like, you guys are seeing them. You guys are seeing all of these red flags that happened in the very, very, very beginning that I completely ignored. Nothing told me like, oh, this is a red flag. Nothing like told me that. And I know you're looking at me, you're like, how can you not see these? I literally like didn't, because I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to see it. And so my red flags was like, if I did a background check on him and if he actually like had a criminal record or, you know, marriage certificates, all that stuff, like that would have, for me, would have been my like red flags. But none of that popped up in the background search that I did on him. So, but my mama does her research. And because he already told me his version of the story when it came to his fiance, which I'm about to share, I didn't want to see anything. My mom wanted to show me, and I did not want to see it. I told her, no, Mom, he already told me about that. The thing about B is that he will give you 5% of truth, and the other 95% is complete BS. Complete. Like, and it never crossed my mind that this person was... I've never met somebody who lied. Well, I probably have met someone that lied that much, but didn't realize it when I kind of think back on some of my experiences, but I never met someone that like lied that much. And it's like, but if you're engaged, like, why would you lie about that? Why would you lie about being engaged? So no, I didn't think that he was lying to me about the fiance. And no, I legit believed him. Oh yeah, they've been broken up for a year. And he told me that she was crazy. And that he told me some other stuff. I have to be careful about what I say, but he told me some other stuff and that she was crazy. And you know, there's always two sides to every story. So, he said that she was bipolar also. But I really should have really sat and thought on that about, I mean, okay, someone may have like a bipolar disorder. She does not. But someone may have a bipolar disorder, but it doesn't mean that the things that happen to them, their experiences, is a lie or that they're crazy. Like, when he said that and he told me something that I was like, oh my God, like, she did what? And so it did make it sound like she was crazy. And so I believed him. And then, of course, I get the backstory on that particular situation. I can share some of that, and I'll do that a little later. But I had a background on that situation. And so then when I had the whole story, I'm like, oh, because he left all that out. So we will talk about that. But, okay, I'm about to show you her videos that she put out. And again, she's a comedian, so it's funny. It's funny, haha, but it's also like sad, extremely sad, but she makes jokes out of all of it. So, my heart. Okay, she makes jokes out of it, so, I will, you guys can see what she had to say, and I know she will have much more to say. We talked today, so she will have much more to say, but right now I'm just going to show you guys this part.
Made it this far. Welcome to the finale of So I Almost Married a Narcissistic Sociopath. So he's just blown up my entire life, and if the way in which he did so was not gut-wrenching enough, over the next couple months, I would come to find out that he had multiple children that I knew nothing about. He owes a shit ton of back child support. He basically was cheating on me our entire relationship. At this point, I feel like I'd be pressed to find a day where he was faithful. And my personal favorite, he's married to someone else. And that's the real kicker for me, ladies and gentlemen, because plot twist, that means we were never actually going to get married. So when he proposed to me, he knew we weren't going to get married. When we started planning our wedding, he knew we weren't going to get married. When we did our engagement photos, he knew we would not get married. When my family paid deposits for the venue, for the caterer, for the DJ, for the flowers, for the planner, he knew we were not going to get married. When I bought my dress, he knew we were not going to get married. When my girls spent money on their dresses, he knew we were never going to get married. Now, if that's not a narcissistic sociopath, then I don't know what is. So that's the skinny on how I almost married a narcissistic sociopath. And now he is having a baby with his new supply. And congrats to the happy couple. No, not really. I hope you're miserable. BT dubs. Sis, if he ends up proposing to you with a really beautiful oval-shaped halo engagement ring, that's mine. Could I get that back? I only ask because, you know, my parents paid for it. Okay, I know that's petty, but I earned it. Okay, real talk. I know that I use humor a lot to retell some really painful and hard truths about my life, but I want to make it very clear. Anyone who has experienced being in an abusive relationship of any kind, whether emotionally, physically, mentally, and in relationship with a narcissistic personality, that is no joking matter. It is so incredibly painful, and it is so incredibly difficult to try and recover from. Healing and rebuilding from this has been one of the hardest and scariest things that I've ever done, because I fully believed that this was going to destroy me. But somehow it didn't. Actually, I know how. I know what it's like to experience a pain that you can literally feel tearing pieces of you away. And I'm not here to give you answers because frankly, I don't have them. I just simply want to remind you that you are not alone and to encourage you to keep fighting for you, because those places that we think are impossible for us to get to, they're not.
So, yeah, she called me a B, but no, girl, I didn't know. We had a long conversation, okay? A very long conversation after the fact. And so all love here, all love here. Aren't y'all mad at me? I'm mad at me. Like, seriously. So, she put that out. So, mind you, he wiped her off his social media and then told me to look up his social media and gave me, right? And then had me look at it, but she was no longer on there. And then come to find out that they were supposed to get married. It was, what did I tell you? Like February 2nd when he told me the truth. They were supposed to get married on like February the 11th, I think it said. I'm trying to find the picture of their engagement with the wedding date, but I can't find it. I have so many photos I need to filter through my phone. Anyways, so they were supposed to get married like February 11th or 12th. I'm sure she has it. But, so yeah, so he broke up with her like 2 weeks prior. And now he's fully mine, right? Like he got the time. I found another text message where he mentioned to me, I was telling my best friend, I was like, oh, ha, ha, ha. Caleb, and this is when I still thought he was Caleb, 6 weeks into us knowing each other. He goes, maybe you and I can move in together. I forgot about that he even said that. And I remember I told him, I'm not moving in with you. Like, I don't know you. And then after he told me his real name and he was still in Colorado because the apartment wasn't ready yet. And so he would joke around talking about let's have a baby. And I'm like, I'm not having a baby with you. Like, I barely know you. But he jokes all the time. So I didn't know if he was being serious or not. I didn't think he was being serious, because why would you mention having a baby with someone just a few months after you know them, right? And here I'm single, I ain't got no kids. Like, I didn't plan on having kids unless this was someone that was gonna marry. So, and mind you, I'm 35 at the time. So I leave, I come back home. I told him that I loved him. I'm the first one that said it. I told him that I loved him so I went out there Valentine's weekend. We spent the weekend together. My sister, also at the time lived in Colorado. So I was able to meet up with her. And then I told him that I loved him, and, got home. He was supposed to come back like the next week, and he was supposed to move into his new apartment. So he asked me to go. No. He calls me because he missed his flight home, and he's literally freaking out. And I'm like, it's okay. Like, stay calm. It's okay. Like, we can figure this out. I'm a problem solver. Like, if you freak out, I'm not going to freak out. If you freak out, we're going to try to solve it. Like, that's just how I operate. So I was like, look, I'll front you the money. I know, guys. I said, I'll front you the money. It was $1,500. I'll front you the money. Don't worry. I'll go get the keys. I'll give the lady, the check, and it'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be able to move in. So I did all that. He's like thanking me so much. He didn't have a vehicle. So he kept telling me that he had to turn in his lease. And then when he was supposed to turn in his lease, he didn't turn it in. He still had the car. He had like the car up until like he was supposed to leave. And so for Colorado. So I had asked him, I'm like, oh, did you turn in the car yet? And he was like, no, they let me keep it for a couple more days. And I'm like, that's not the way leases work. I know how leases work. He'd be like, well, I worked at a car dealership, and, I was the financial manager, and I know how these things work. Okay, well, how long ago was that? I mean, I don't even know, but I lease cars, and I know that's not the way the lease works. When your lease is up, you need to have the car back, and you can't go over 100 miles or they get charged. So, he was like, if I could get a car, I can get a car if I needed to, like, no problem. I'm like, okay, cool. Randomly, right? He like randomly will say these things. He randomly said that. And so, I'm like, cool. Like he can get a car. That's cool. But then he goes, well, I guess I can just ride a scooter around LA and, I'll be fine. And then I'm like, oh my God, he doesn't have a car. Like, he can't ride a scooter. He was living like downtown LA. I'm like, he can't ride a scooter everywhere down there. Like, you need a vehicle. So guess what I did? Can you guess, guys? Can you guess what Camille did? Here's my Benz. Give him the keys. Here, you can borrow my I have a few cars. That was like my weekend car. This is my gift to myself. I like to drive nice cars because I work so hard. So this is like my guilty pleasure. Okay. So I give him the keys to my Benz, and I'm like, just don't drive it too much because it's a lease. So you can't go around the miles. Give him the keys to my Benz. So now he has a vehicle. Cause I mean, I can't let my man go from driving an Audi to a scooter. Like, no. He has to have a nice car. This is like, knock, knock, hello. Like, this is my mentality, right? I'm Captain Save-A-Bro. Me and my therapist talk about this. I'm Captain Save-A-Bro, and working on getting out of that. I like to help people. I like to be there for people. I like to problem solve for people. And I have this really bad pattern. So, Captain Save-A-Bro. I gave him the keys to my Benz. And that wasn't my new car too. I had just gotten that car. Maybe like 6 months prior to that. So it was a new car. He didn't pay me back right away. Next thing I know, he's like buying furniture. Like he bought like a new bed, he bought a desk, and I'm thinking like, well, where's my money for the apartment? So but I don't say anything because I'm just waiting, right? Because if someone tells you they're going to do something, then they should do it. And so I'm not one to nag. So I was just like, okay, I'll just sit back and watch. But I should have, because that was a boundary that I let him cross. Like, I should have nagged. It's not even nagging. It's, you told me you were going to give me my money back, so that's what you need to do. So eventually he did. 4 months later, he randomly gives me cash and was like, I know I owe you this. And it was the total amount. So one day he asked me to borrow. Mind you, he has never asked me to borrow money in our entire relationship, except for one time. And he asked to borrow $2,000 so that he could buy a car. And he's like, I just need help. Like, I just need like $2,000 and I can get a car. And I'm like, okay, like, cause he paid me back the $1,500. So I'm like, okay, like, yeah, I know he paid it late, but he still paid it back. So I'm thinking like, okay, $2,000, I can do that. Like, I can help you out and get you a cashier's check for $2,000. Stupid again. So I gave him a cashier's check for $2,000 and I meet him at the car dealership in LA. So when we get there, when I get there, he comes out and he goes, actually, it's not $2,000. It's going to be $3,000. So can you like give me your credit card? I didn't feel comfortable with this. I've been scammed before when it came to cars. And I'm like, no, I need to be the one to run it. Like, it's my card. He's like, no, he did not want me to come inside the dealership. I gave him my card and he ran that extra $1,000. And there goes, you know, the money that he needed to get a car. So now, America, your boy now has a BMW. I have a picture of it. I'm going to put it up here. So he had asked me, he was like, oh, which car do you think I should get? And it was between like a VW, SUV, I can't remember which one it is right now. And then, or a BMW, a 2016, 325i, I think is what it was, a black one. And he was like, which one do you think I should get? And I'm like, well, I mean, if you have kids, you should get the SUV, because, you know, they can fit in the SUV, because mind you, he's tall and this is a little, like, he would have to put his seat all the way back. Like, not really practical when you have a family. Like, so, but I mean, mind you, like the BMW it was a 4-door. So, I mean, I guess so. Anyway, do you guys see like the manipulation? I didn't see it. You know what sucks is when your brain goes through corrective memory. When what you thought was happening versus what was actually happening, and then now your brain has to correct that. And that's the part that sucks after you've gone through something traumatic. It continues because your brain is just like processing constantly until it processes everything and things start to slow down. And then, you know, you can like start your healing process, which is where like I'm at. So, he got his BMW, and his reaction when he got that car, he was overly ecstatic. And that's what made me be like, he's acting like he ain't never had a car before of his own. Like his reaction, he was so happy. And I'm thinking, why is he so overly happy about this 2016 BMW when he was driving an Audi? I don't even know what year Paige's Audi was. This is how obviously we all know that it's her car. It's her Audi. But I didn't even know what year her car was, but it was newer than a 2016, because we're in 2021 at this time. It's 2021. So now I get my car back. I get my car back, and that's when I was just kind of like, okay. And that thing deep, like the pit in my stomach, I was like, that wasn't his car. That wasn't his car. Also, remember the text message that I put in the one of the videos where his name was Caleb, right? And this is my proof that it's his picture, and I'm thinking he's Caleb. And so, oh yes. So, but when we meet up, I'm looking at his phone and I'm like, you have an iPhone. So why are your bubbles green? And he would say, oh, I don't know, like something must be happening. Like I have to have the phone checked. I'm like, okay, because I mean, do you have your iMessages turned off? Like, why is your bubble green? So then he did that whole like third person validation, a third person that I haven't spoken to. And he goes, oh yeah, my mom said the same thing, like was asking me the same thing, why my bubble was green. And I do have to get that checked out. And I'm just like, So, we got to rewind. So when he was in Colorado and he gave me his real social media account and his name and all that, he also gave me his real number. And that's when the bubbles became blue. That's when the bubbles became blue. So over like the next maybe like month, I was asking him, like, did you have like a spoof number? Were you using like a Google number? Like, I'm confused because now this number is a Colorado number. And he was like, no, like something was just wrong with my phone. Like, no, I just like I changed my number is what he said. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna screenshot that. And I actually have the Colorado number. And what I found on the background report also. So yes, I will share that. This is my journey of how I collected all these little things, still was rolling with whatever he said, but it was there, like it was there. So now he's moved into the apartment. His best friend is a mutual friend of Paige, okay? And she told me that she actually introduced this guy to Byron because they all like went to church together. That Byron had no friends when she met him. And when her and I were talking after the fact, I thought that was weird that he would, in a relationship, that he really didn't have that many friends because he comes off as like the nicest person. He even will say that, I am the nicest person. And he was. And so someone who's that like outgoing and personable, you think they would have a lot of friends. But he had like no friends. And the friends that he did have that knew him for a long time all live out of state. They don't live in the same state as him. And he doesn't see them like that. So that was another red flag. So we're at his apartment, which was like super tiny. I did not like staying. We always had to end up going to my house because I needed like more room. But it was cute. It was a cute apartment. He like fixed it all up, and it was perfect for just a single person. So his best friend would be over at his house. No, let's go to when he moved. So when B moved into that house, I brought my Tundra, right? I got a truck. So I bought my Tundra, and I'm going to help him like move his stuff. And then his best friend at the time had went and got the U-Haul. So they're planning, the guys are moving. I met him up there like super early in the morning. I drove out to LA super early in the morning. So his best friend said, because they need to go get all of the things out of the shared, what's the word I'm looking for, y'all? The, oh my God, like the storage, from the storage. So, his best friend, when I finally met him, he was like, hi, it's very nice to meet you. And he said something about the circumstances were weird, but he's really happy that Byron met me. But I didn't really know what that meant. I'm just like, okay. So I just thought maybe it was, because the story he told me that he was still with her living at her parents' house. But they were broken up and like that whole situation was weird. That's what I thought he was referring to. So, we end up all day moving into the apartment. And so fast forward, one day I was over there, and remember that episode on Oprah where Tom Cruise was jumping all like a crazy person all over the couch over, was it over his wife Kate at the time? Byron did that on his bed. 6'5", jumping all crazy on the bed talking about, let's have a baby, let's have a baby, let's have a baby. And I was just like, it was really weird and childish. So when that happened, his best friend was sitting in the living room on the couch. And I saw his face and he looked really uncomfortable. He looked really uncomfortable, but he also looked like maybe a light bulb went off in his like a light bulb went off, because I just remember his face. And I'm just thinking, like, why would you say, let's have a baby? Like, what, you think we're gonna, like, you know, be intimate in the bedroom, your friends, like, right outside? He's in a junior, like, one bedroom. Like, it's really, like, 400 square, like, it's a really small apartment. And it was just very strange. Very strange. I mean, he was on all fours on the bed, too. You know? With his tongue hanging out like a dog. It was the strangest thing. And again, he jokes around all the time, but it was strange. And again, like, I don't know, maybe that's like 8, 9, so 2 months already. So maybe that's like within the 3rd month of us, you know, being together. And only like a month after he told me what his real name was. So that was extremely strange. So his best friend is supposed to be getting married. And Byron was like not the best man, but Byron was gonna plan out the bachelor party. And it was, what did he want to do? He wanted to do like zip lining and some other stuff. It wasn't anything like wild. It wasn't going to be like a wild bachelor party. His friend wasn't like that. So they were just going to do like zip lining or something. It was whatever Byron really wanted to do, whatever he thought would be cool. So I met the best friend's fiance. I thought she was really cool. I liked her. And then all of a sudden, he tells me one day that he got uninvited. Well, we got uninvited from the wedding. And I was like, what? What do you mean? Like, why would you get uninvited from the wedding when you're his best friend? So he was like, his fiance, she doesn't like me. She doesn't like the relationship that we have, that we're so close. She's jealous. And so, you know, he just like, I'm no longer in the wedding. I'm like, so, I mean, are you guys just not friends anymore? I'm assuming, like, no, not friends anymore either. And they had a business together too. And so, he really quickly took his name off of the business and sent Byron like all of the stuff from LegalZoom like ASAP. He just mailed it to him. Really, like, within that week, he had it. Like, his best friend did not play. And then that was it. And so then I'm like, wait a minute. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. How is he your best friend of 4 years and then he's just not your friend anymore? Something's wrong. Like, something's off. And so then I hit the best friend up. And I'm like, can you tell me, like, what happened? Like, this doesn't sound right. Like, why would you just not be his friend anymore? Like, didn't he just take... Oh, so Byron is also a wedding photographer, okay? Also an actor, a wedding photographer, and a veteran. So his thing was doing wedding photography. And so he took their engagement shoot. And so I'm just like, I don't understand. Like, you just did your engagement shoot. Like, this doesn't sound right. And so I'm like, is there something I need to know? And his best friend was just like, I'm so sorry. He goes, I'm so sorry that I had to retract our invitation. And wow, like, Byron really does have a good woman. He really does have a good woman. And I can't remember what all the rest he said. I probably have that message too because I never delete anything. Sorry, my videos keep getting cut off because I'm running out of storage. All right, so he was just like, yeah, he really has a good woman. And then he said, but kindly do not contact me again out of respect, like, for his wife. He was like, out of respect for my wife, please do not contact me again. And I was just like, okay. Like, I hate that. Like, I know guys, like, you guys aren't messy, but like, if someone asks you, is something wrong? Like, is there something that I need to know? Just say it. You're not going to be friends with him anymore. Like, honestly, like, just say it. Dude, you're getting married. It's not like it. I mean, if it's a red flag, if there's something that, obviously there's something that you realize to where you literally cut your entire friendship off with him. And I'm asking you, is there something that I need to know? Like, this doesn't make sense. What happened? And you don't even say anything? Like, it would have been nice to know. It would have. I'm kind of upset at them about that, to be honest with you. I am. But I mean, it is what it is. Because, oh, that's what happened. Byron had asked me not to tell his best friend about Big Bear. And I asked him, I said, why don't you want me to tell him about Big Bear? And he was like, well, only because I haven't told him about it yet. And I'm like, okay, but I mean, what's the big deal? So after, I mean, he moved out. Now we're together. So I did mention Big Bear to his friend. I did. And with that, so right after that is when the friendship dissolved. So now he only has 2 friends out of state. One is an ex-military buddy. One is from high school, I think, because he didn't go to college. One of his high school friends. And again, that guy lives out of state. I don't even know the last time Byron ever saw him. And then his veteran buddy that he would see like off and on. And that dude lived like in Arizona. So that's it. And then his one friend, PK Mackey, who I think the second video that I posted, that's her. So that's like the last friend that he has. 3 friends, only one in state. Doesn't sound right, does it? No. So, yeah, that happened. So the next video I'm going to talk about is about to get deep, and I have to be really careful about what I say because kids are involved. So there's going to be some stuff that I'm going to leave out, and you guys are just going to have to kind of figure it out because yeah, it's like wild. This man's secrets are so dark and deep, it's scary. it's like scary because it doesn't make sense. These little things. Why not tell me you have a spoof number? Because there's more to it. There's more to it. There's a lot of things, stupid things that he would lie about. And you're like, why would you even lie about that? Because there's always more to it. That's why. And I didn't figure that out until after I ran for my life and left him. And that's when I figured that out. And that is the scariest part. That is the scariest part. You literally do not know who this guy is at all. I don't even think I think his family knows some stuff, but I don't think they really, I know they know some stuff. I do, because some stuff is off, but I don't think they know how bad it is or how dark it is or deep it is. I don't think they really know that. I don't. They know there's some things wrong. They know that. They know how he is. They grew up with him. But I don't know if they know to the extent of how much it's grown, because he hides himself pretty well. So the best friend is out of the picture now, completely out of the picture. And so now I was taking care of, my goddaughter was living with me, and I was taking care of her. And so he didn't like her. He did not. He didn't like her. She's a teenager, but like, God, how old was she at the time? I don't know, 12, 13. And he did not like her, and he definitely wanted her out of the picture. He would complain, saying that she was side-eyeing him, that she was rude, that he, if he was talking to her, that she wouldn't respond. And, you know, she's sassy, so some of the stuff that he said, I'm like, I could see like her doing that. But I should have known, because when I asked her, she made this face. Like, I could tell when she's lying, and then you can tell when she's not lying. And she just made this face like, what? Almost like, when did I do that? She's like, I always talk to him. Anywho, he wanted her out of the picture because what do you think he was trying to do? He was trying to move in with me. And I told him, I'm not moving. Like, I've never lived with a man before. Byron was my first, like, serious relationship as an adult. I have never been with anybody this long. I haven't. I've always been kind of picky. Obviously not picky enough, but picky and like, you know, next. Like, this person just is looking for a good time, or this person is lying. Even though he was lying to me the whole time, I don't know why I felt like it had nothing to do with me, but everything to do with him. And like, he was trying to protect himself for something, because he was talking about his trauma. So then he gives you like this whole story about his traumatic life. And I'm not going to, I don't know how much I can speak on. He's a motivational speaker. Have y'all found his page on Instagram yet? Byron, have they found your page on Instagram yet? And how you're a motivational speaker to children? Have they found it? Y'all. Please let me know in the comments. Please, please, please. Please, please, please. So anywho, yeah, he did not like her. He wanted her out of the picture because he wanted to move in with me. So he goes, I want to marry you. I know you're the one for me. You are the perfect woman for me, the perfect person. You make me feel safe. And I'm very protective, extremely. I'm the oldest of 4 kids. Like, I'm very protective, just how I am. So as soon as he said that, like, you make me feel safe, I'm like, oh my God, like, I have to make, like, again, it's manipulation. Automatically, I went into that protective mama bear mode. I defended him a lot. Yeah. So as soon as he said he wanted to marry me, I was like, well, then, I mean, you have to move in, because there's no way I'm gonna marry you and not know who you are. And at this time, I'm still 35. Yeah, I'm still 35. So I was like, yes, okay, you're gonna have to move in. You're just gonna have to move in. So he was really like pushing like, oh, well, when is she gonna move out? So I decided that I couldn't do it because her and I were having like, she was going through some things and it was a little too much for me to handle. So he was like really pushing like, oh, when is she gonna move out? And then he would say little things like, her family's just using you. They just want you for your money. Like he was telling me all this crazy stuff. I'm like, no, I'm the one that said I wanted to take her and wanted her to move in with me. And, you know, but he would just be planting little things, and he'll keep saying it to where you just kind of give in, you know, like you're tired of hearing it constantly, so you just give in. So, yeah, so she ended up moving out. He moved in because he wants to marry me. I'm the one. Everything that I wanted, and I am the one for him. And he wants to marry me. So yes, we are going to be living together. So I can figure out like, is this it? So I'm not that dumb. He still had his apartment. So I'm like, well, okay, so if this doesn't work out, at least he still has his apartment. So I'm the one that figured out like, okay, how do we get you to not have to pay for your apartment? We're gonna put it on VRBO. So we really fixed it up. He took his little professional pictures and we put it on VRBO, and we made sure that thing was rented out every single month. Even if he didn't make any profit, I'm like, if you don't make any profit, whatever, as long as you're not paying the rent. And then I told him, because, you know, we're talking about finances, and I'm like, okay, how much debt do you have? He said he had only had $40,000. I'm like, okay, well, I got way more than that. So, because I don't know how to set, I mean, I've been in business for 10 years. This is my 10th year in business. And building business credit was like super confusing to me. And so a lot of my personal stuff is like tied into my business. So anyways, I got debt. So, but I would be able to pay off majority of my debt within 6 months. If he paid all the bills, I could pay off my debt in 6 months. So majority of it. So I was like, okay, well, you don't have to pay me rent for a year. Yeah, I know guys, I'm so nice. I'm just so nice and caring. And like, I was like, in it, we're a team. He told us that we're a team. And I when I would say I, he was like, no, not I, we. And then we had our own email address. We were the Hopkins. And he's saying I'm Mrs. Hopkins, even though we're not married yet. And he didn't propose yet. So, and we also had this BCH legacy because both of our last names, same initial. And so B, Byron, Camille, H, legacy, okay? Like he really like got our email addresses. And then he goes, we should have a shared account so that we can pay our bills through that. We can pay the bills through that if we have a shared account. And I'm like, how about I add you to one of my accounts? Because I wasn't that stupid. I was not about to add him to my main account. So I added him to like a credit union that I had that I literally only used to like put my like some savings in, or like when I wanted to go on like a trip, I would like put money away on the side, and that. So that's what we would use that account to pay the bills out of. Obviously, we're having like basic conversations before he even moved into my house. Let me backtrack a little bit. And I had asked him, well, okay, so when we found out about Paige and how he was engaged to her, my mom was doing her research. And so he wiped her off his social media, but she didn't wipe him off of hers. So, and then she was telling her story on her TikTok. So, my mom was following her the whole time, her whole journey, and getting very emotionally involved. And again, I didn't want to see any of it. I didn't. I wanted to stay in the dark. I didn't want to see any of it because he already explained everything to me. So I didn't want to see any of it. And so she was impressed by his engagement, how he did a flash mob, his proposal, how he did a flash mob proposal, and I'm like, Mom, I don't want to hear any of this stuff. I don't want to know how he proposed to her or how nice her ring was. And so she was trying to line up the timeline with what he told me. So she's lining up the timeline based on what he was telling me and based on what was on her page and her story. So, and for my mom, it wasn't adding up. She didn't like him. And I heard Paige's mama didn't like him either. So, my mom's definitely worried. I know she is. I know she's worried. But I'm just, you know, what does she say? If you choose to put your head in the sand. So, that's what I did. Anywho, I would ask him, because he told me he went to UCLA. He said he went to UCLA or USC. And I think it's USC, because USC is by Felix. You guys, I think Felix the cat, the car dealership, I think that's USC. So that's where he told me he went to college. And I'm like, wow, like, when did you have time to do that? Because he also went to film school. So I was like impressed. I'm like, dang, like, how did you go to USC and you were living in Colorado and you were in the military and you went to film school? Like, and you had one kid. Told me he just had 2 kids. He had an older son and then he had his daughter, and that was it. So I was trying to figure it out, and he also put that on his LinkedIn profile that he had went to USC. I think I have a screenshot of that. I will find it because it's not on there anymore. So yeah, so he goes, oh, well, I went online. I graduated from USC online. So I was thinking like maybe he took like a business certificate program, you know, some program or something that you could do it online. I mean, I don't know. I know a ton of y'all probably went to USC, so can you get a certificate online from USC? I don't think so. So, but I just ate it up. I was like, oh, okay. Because who would lie about that? Like, why would you lie about school? That didn't make sense to me. So he went to film school. So in 2016, he moved from Colorado to California. And so, he left his wife, Samantha. Hey girl, she may comment, you may see her comments on here, but he left his wife, Samantha, and moved out to California. And the way he did that was, she comes home one day and her furniture is gone. Yes, gone. He rented an apartment in Colorado. He rented an apartment, got a U-Haul truck, and took her furniture. Took the furniture, left the kids' stuff. I think she told me that furniture, she's gonna have to correct me, but I think she told me that furniture, they were paying on it still. And so he took it. I guess it was new furniture. Maybe he talked her into buying new furniture knowing that he was gonna get a new apartment, and that way we'd have new stuff. That would be typical of him. Typical of him. Like, 100%. So, but she'll have to correct me. So anyways, and then she's co-signed on a car for him twice. So this is the second car. The other one, I can't remember what happened. I think it also got repossessed or something. I'm not sure. But the second car was like a Honda or something like that. And so, you know, that's the car that he was driving. So she said that she would take the kids over there only maybe twice. He told me that he was feeding the kids, because I was like, you moved? Like, he was like, yeah, we separated. She didn't know they were separating. But he was like, yeah, we separated, and you know, I would take the kids, take care of them and stuff at my house. And she told me that wasn't true. And she said he would not feed them. He had no food in his refrigerator. When I met him, he had no food in his fridge. And I was like ordering groceries at Walmart and sending it to his house, at his apartment, because he had enough just to pay for his rent, and he didn't have enough to buy like food. So I was sending like grocery orders to his house. So anywho, so she said she would always have to feed the kids before she dropped them off. So so then all of a sudden he was gone. He was only at that place for 2 months because he got evicted. He got evicted because he couldn't pay the he didn't pay the rent. So he got evicted. And he took the car and drove it to California. And he ended up not even paying on that car. So that car ended up being in default. And she couldn't afford, she was struggling. Like, she was taking care of 4 people. Like, they didn't let him re-enlist into the military. That's a whole nother story. And so he took the car, and I guess he told me that he found something where he stayed at a house full of boys, and all he had to do was drive them around, and he was able to stay there for free. But then, like, not too long after, he met Van. We're gonna call her Van. She gave me permission to tell part of her story. He met Van, and I guess her lease was up or coming up, and he talked her into moving in with him. And so Van is absolutely gorgeous, curvy, Pacific Islander, and she was like down. She was helping him. He went to film school. She helped him. All these people calling me. She helped him get a job after film school. So she acted like she was his agent, and she helped him get a job. He was helping her pay rent because he got like a disability check from the military. So he was helping her pay rent. So this job that she helped him get was how he met Paige. So while he's with Van, he was dating Paige. And so at this time, the car's in default, and Sam doesn't know like where the car is. They want to know where the car is. She's like, I don't know where the car is. He drove it to California. So he ordered a pizza on her Papa John's account and put in his address. And so that's how she found out where he was. And she told people, and they went and got the car. So he comes out and the car is gone. He tells Van, my car got stolen. She had an extra car. So he never was without a car. He ended up driving her extra car. Again, this is like, it's not my story, so this may not be all 100% accurate as far as the timeline for stuff, but this is roundabout what happened. So, so she has a tracker on the car, and Van noticed that he was constantly like at this address, and he was at it often. This is after film school. So I'm like, you didn't like go down there? She's like, no, I just thought he was working. Like, I didn't know. And so the address was Paige's address. So we have a joint account. We're going back to me. That was a little bit about that. We know that he was cheating on Van with Paige, cheated on Paige with me. So you guys got Paige's story. I know he was dating Paige for at least 6 months while he was still with Van. So when she found out that he was cheating on her, I think he had moved some stuff out while she was away at work. And he took like her alkaline water machine, her TV, like all these things that he had moved into like my place with, like some of the stuff that he had, or some of the stuff at his apartment is a collection from just the women that he's been with. Like, he already makes his moves however many steps ahead, not too many steps ahead, but enough. And he makes sure that he takes what he wants. I wasn't playing that. Please. The thing is, what do people say? Just listen. Just listen and watch. And you know exactly what they're gonna do. I knew exactly what he was gonna do before I left him. So, we're not going there yet. Rewind. So I'm putting money into this account, our joint account. Do you think he's putting money into the joint account? No. What do you think he's doing? Spending it. Spending the money that I'm putting in there to pay his car note. I essentially was paying his car note. Not only did I help get the car, but I'm also paying the note because he kept getting calls because his payments were late. So I told him, I said, you're not putting any money in here. You're just spending it. So when he got his monthly check, he put $200 in there and told me, oh yeah, I deposited some money. But then he turned around and took it right back out. So one day, I get a notification that $700 was taken from the account. And I was like, what in the world? And I was upset because it had been taken from the savings of our joint account. And so I was like, oh my God, this money got taken. Like, I don't even know why. Like, they said there was a lien on the account. And I'm just really, really upset because I'm trying so hard, to save and things like that. And at this time, we didn't have his daughter yet. We ended up getting custody of his daughter, but not yet. So, I was really upset. I get a letter in the mail. And it says that the lien was taken out because of Byron being on my account. And I'm like, it says it's because of you. What do you have where you would have a lien on it? He's like, oh, it's probably something for my dad because, my dad used my social security number and opened up a bunch of accounts. And I'm like, oh my God, why? How can he do that? How can he? He's like, well, because our names are similar. And I'm like, okay. So randomly one day, he goes, I think I owe you this, and gives me the $700 back. Where did he get the money from? I'm not sure. So I have to go to so I've been going to the fertility doctor. This is my fertility story now. So I've been going to the fertility doctor. I've had issues since I was 22. Didn't know if I would be able to have kids. Didn't know if I would ever be a mom. It was an underlying thing that I low-key was depressed about. And so the age range that I was at the time was literally my last chance to be a mother. So I just was like, oh my God, I met my person, this is perfect. This is perfect. I still have time. I also was going to do IVF. So before I met Byron, I was going to do IVF and freeze my eggs. But if you understand IVF or know anything about it, it's still risky. My egg count was less than a 1. At 35, my egg count should have been an 11. And it was less than a 1. I only had 1 ovary left. Dermoids, I had a lot of issues. So, I went to the fertility doctor and he does my tests and Byron's with me and he said, if you're going to do something, Camille, you're going to have to do it now. You're going to have to do it now. And my heart kind of dropped because I know the risks with freezing your eggs. When you unfreeze them, you have the risk of those eggs not making it. And if I have less than a 1 egg count, how many good viable eggs are they going to get from me? And whatever I freeze could possibly be when they be unviable during the thawing out process, and then I no longer have an egg count and now I don't have any eggs, right? It was scary. It was a scary thing, a scary realization that I may not be able to be a mother. And so when he said that, I looked at Byron and he goes, why don't we have a baby for free? And then he told me he had super sperm. And I'm like, really? Really? Yeah, you want to do it? And he was like, yeah. And so then before I made my decision, I'm like, it's you and me, right? We're going to do this. We're going to build this. We're going to be a power couple, because I've always wanted to be with someone I could be a power couple with. And so he was like, yeah, it's you and me. When I look back, when I asked him that question, his head was down and he hesitated. He looked hesitant. He did. But the thing is, he told me what I wanted to hear. And that's what I ran with. That's what I ran with. And so we proceeded to try to get pregnant for 4 months. And so my son is my miracle baby. I wouldn't have, I wanted to be married. He told me he wanted to marry me. And I'm like, okay, well, we're going to have a baby first. Like, because to get married, like, we have to, like, get rings. We have to, like, I don't want to do courthouse. Like, I want to actually have, like, a wedding. And so we don't have time for that. Like, the baby's going to have to come first. So that's what we did. And then I began my pregnancy journey.
So, anyways. Jesus Christ, how the fuck did we get here? Okay, I know why you're here, okay? Fine. Man, I have not done one of these in a while, but should be like riding a bike. Let's go. For those of you who have seen the Tyler, the Creator concert proposal video, which is far too many of you at this point. Yes, I am heavy on the one of the many women who have a story about that man in the video. So I know all of you are here because you want the tea. I get it. Now I should warn you, this is not the video where I'm going to rehash every detail of my experience and my story with this individual, simply because I already did it. So if you want every detail, fresh, hot off the 2021 presses, baby, I am going to link the 4-part series that I already created about this, and you can go and get all the details, okay? In the meantime, you can consider this video just a live too long didn't read, all right? I want to start by saying something that I think is really important because as myself and other women are either having to rehash this or being put in a position to share their stories for the first time publicly, I think it's really important that as you guys are receiving this information, as entertaining as it is and as piping hot as the tea may be, we are people, okay? And we are real people who went through a very traumatic experience. A lot of our experiences are similar, but they differ in some ways. But we went through a very traumatic experience. Some of us have been healing for years. Some of us have only been healing for months. But nonetheless, we have been fighting like hell to not just survive, but thrive on the other side of dealing with an individual such as this. So be entertained. I'm not going to ask the internet to not be the internet because that's just crazy. But could we also just maybe apply some kindness and compassion and all those comments that you have about like, girl, if I would have known, yes, you probably would have done a lot of things differently if you were in my position or any of the other women's positions. But the point of the matter is you weren't. And so unless you walked in our shoes directly, please be kind, please show compassion. And if all you have is judgment to share, I'm not saying you don't judge, just keep it to yourself. Write it in a journal. Talk to your therapist, your Jesus, or your mama, but keep it away from us, okay? We've been through enough. All right, here we go. In 2018, I met a man named Byron Hopkins, and a very quick forming crush turned into very quick, deep like, which turned into love, which turned into him being what I thought at the time was the love of my life. At the time, he was someone who I swear to God was everything I had hoped and prayed for in a partner. So when he asked me to marry him in August of 2019, I couldn't have said yes faster. We set a wedding date of September 2020. But as we all know, now in March of 2020, COVID hit and the world completely shut down. For context, just so you know, because of COVID, my family, we had all made a decision to quarantine together. My brother had just had his first kid, and so we didn't know how long we would end up being separated, so we all quarantined. So it was me and my fiance at the time, my mom and dad, and then my brother, his wife, and their newborn baby. What could possibly go wrong? Turns out everything. Basically, shit got real, really fast. You know, because at the end of the day, when you are a pathological, lying, narcissistic sociopath who moonlights as a con artist on the weekends, when the world gets small, it becomes very hard for you to be able to navigate in your usual conniving, devious ways. To be honest, it did not take long for me to start questioning if the man that I was getting ready to spend the rest of my life with was who he actually said he was. I will be honest about that. Things just weren't adding up. It just felt like he was dishonest now about everything, or at least I was now becoming aware of the dishonesty. I would question him about things that didn't make sense to me, and what would be, in my mind, a conversation for clarity would turn into these knockout, drag out fights. He became really mean, which for me was out of character at the time, because prior to this, I swear to God, I thought this man loved my dirty draws. Okay, like really did. Never thought he was perfect, but I definitely thought I was loved. He became emotionally and verbally abusive, and I would even dare say mentally. He became very physically intimidating. And I feel like that was intentional based off of information that he had about me and my past. I started to realize that vulnerabilities that I had shared with him, intimate things about myself that I had shared with him, he was now using against me like arsenal. And before you guys all say like, okay, well, if you're having these thoughts and things aren't adding up, why didn't you just leave? To be honest, at that same time, my dad suffered a really severe stroke, and we thought we were losing him. And if I'm being fully transparent, I just did not, how can I say it? One area of my life that meant the world to me was, at the time, I thought, being taken away and falling apart, which was my dad. And I truly just did not have the capacity and honestly, the bravery to allow myself to think through those hard conversations and those hard questions with me enough to have this part of my life that I also cared so much about fall apart as well. Fast forward a few months, and about 45 days before what is now our new wedding date, this man got on a plane, and that was the last time I ever saw him. He called me a couple days later and basically told me he did not want to marry me. Reasons he cited were I'm psychotic, I'm toxic, I am not someone who he would ever want to procreate and have children with. It was really demeaning, really devaluing, really just like fucking mean. At the time, what I did not know was that he was already about 3 to 4 months into a relationship with a new woman. And that is essentially what sent me down what I call my Nancy Drew spiral of just trying to figure out what the fuck just happened. And I was looking for answers. And boy, did I got him. Sure did. Ultimately, I ended up discovering that he had 6 children, which, by the way, was not the number I was told. I was told it was single digit. He had 6 children. He owed about 6 figures worth of child support debt. I was not the first, the second, the third, the fourth, nor the 5th woman. He had done some version of this too. And yes, he was still married. As you can imagine, I felt an array of feelings and emotions during that time and throughout my healing process throughout these years. But I can say that one of the most pressing feelings that I had, and still sometimes feel, was helpless. Not helpless because I'm not capable and I'm not able to take care of myself, but helpless in that now that I know what I know, I cannot in good conscience just sit here and let this man do this again to another woman and another woman and another woman and another woman and another woman. But how do I stop him? The truth is, I can't. I can't stop him. Because for my own preservation, I needed to, over these last few years, prioritize myself, and I needed to prioritize my healing, which has not been easy. It has not been easy. With that though, I've always believed that there's power in your story. There's power in speaking your truth. And I figured I don't have control over him. I don't have control over the new person he's with, but I do own my story. And I'm gonna just tell it. I'm gonna tell my story, and regardless of the ridicule or the judgment that'll come, which there was so much, because a lot of y'all be on here and be so mean. Why are you so mean? We'll unpack that at another time. Despite all that shit, I was gonna tell my story. Because I thought maybe one day someone will see it, and maybe because they were given information that I would have killed to have, you know, they won't have to feel this. They won't have to go through this. So that's what I did. I told my story. Some people watched it, and I kept it pushing. Never in a million years did I think 4 years later we would be circling back. We would be spinning the block, if you will. All because he decided to propose to someone new in, again, another grandiose way, because that's also a pattern. That's what he does. My proposal was a flash mob. So this is a pattern. And I thought for a second, I'm not getting involved. I'm not going to say anything because I've already done that, right? I told my story. However, when I saw that video and I saw that woman, who I do not know, by the way, I have no idea who she is, a very foreign but intense feeling came over me, where I'm looking at someone who I do not know, but I am 100% certain on how your story ends if you do not get away from that man. I know exactly what will happen. I know exactly the level of pain, the level of despair, the level of heartache, not break, y'all, because heartbreak and heartache are two different things. The level of heartache she will experience, the confusion, the fear, the scars that even in your healing that you will have to continue to nurture for the rest of your life, the trauma that'll be induced, the process, the grit and the resilience and the fight that she will have to claw her way back to a version of herself that is recognizable and to rebuild a life that he single-handedly, with every ounce of intention, set out to destroy. And I just felt like I could not look at that and just pretend I don't see it. I can't even say that this video is really just for her. I think this video is for any potential woman who will come across this person in their lifetime. He is not who he says he is. And I know he's charming, and I know he's funny, and I know he's thoughtful, and I know he's sweet and kind and gentle. And I know that he sees you in a way that you have never been seen before. I know. But I also know none of it is real. He is not real. You are real. Your feelings are real, but he is not real. He is not real. His feelings for you are not real. You are a means to an end, like so many of us have been. And his only only purpose is to suck as much life out of you as he possibly can until he has sucked the last drop out and moved on to the next one. I know that sounds dramatic, but I promise you, that is who he is. He's diabolical. He's diabolical. He's not safe. He's a dangerous person. He is incapable of compassion and empathy. All the things that you think he is actually just you, boo. He is a great mirror. As most narcissists are, he is a great mirror. That light you see in him, it's yours. That joy you see in him, it's yours. That ambition, that drive, that's yours. That hope, that's yours. That's yours. It is not his. And I know the narrative. I'm crazy. I'm toxic. I get it. But at the end of the day, if I'm crazy, and the one before me was crazy, and the one before her was crazy, and then the one before her was crazy, and then the one after me was crazy, and then the ones all the way back to when he was 18, 19 years old, you have to leave room for the possibility that we can't all just be crazy. Common denominator is him. We all are flawed, and we all have signs and saw signs and red flags that we chose for our own various reasons to ignore or not pay attention to, or we're just downright naively blind to. Okay, we all did, and we have all taken accountability. Because you have to. If you're truly going to heal, you have to take accountability for your stuff. We have all done that. But what we are not is crazy. What we are not is toxic. What we are not is just a bunch of women who are jealous that he left us. This is someone who saw the best in every single one of us and thought to themselves, not, how can I love them better? How can I be a good steward of their heart? This is someone who said, how can I extract, exploit, and take all of it? Literally, all of it. For me personally, it has been years of rebuilding emotionally, financially, mentally, and I just feel like if me doing this, if me speaking up and the other women speaking up can help one woman, just even one woman, from not having to go through and experience what we have gone through, then baby, I will shout it from the rooftops, because I'm so sick and tired. I'm sick and tired that once a year, every year, like clockwork, y'all, it's my phone and there's another one. So he gonna have to prepare to be sick of me, baby. Because as long as I'm around and as long as I have breath in my lungs, I will make sure that every woman in every city, in every state, in every country, in every planet knows exactly who you really are. And that's a promise. So Beyonce's internets, do your thing, baby. Do your thing.
Day and night. For some women, it can start working in as fast as 1 week.